Picture this, it's the year 2045, and tensions between Earth's superpowers are at an all-time high. A critical resource shortage threatens to plunge the planet into chaos. But instead of escalating into conflict, leaders from across the globe gather not in a boardroom or a summit hall, but in a state-of-the-art orbital station floating high above Earth. Here, in the vast silence of space, they negotiate a groundbreaking agreement that not only averts disaster, but also lays the foundation for a new era of interstellar cooperation. This isn't science fiction, it's the future of diplomacy. Welcome to a world where space isn't just the final frontier. It's the ultimate stage for redefining how nations interact, collaborate, and resolve conflicts. In this video, we'll explore 25 in-depth predictions about the future of space-based diplomacy and alliances, uncovering how the cosmos will transform international relations as we know it. From lunar embassies to AI-driven negotiations, from space treaties to interstellar cultural exchanges, the possibilities are as vast as the universe itself. So, buckle up and prepare to journey beyond Earth's atmosphere, because the future of diplomacy is written in the stars. Let's dive in. Now, let's take a closer look at the first prediction, the rise of space embassies. Imagine a future where nations no longer limit their diplomatic missions to Earth. Instead, they establish permanent outposts in space, with lunar bases and orbital stations serving as the new hubs for international relations. These space embassies will be more than just symbolic gestures. They'll be critical centers for fostering interstellar cooperation and addressing global challenges. The logistical challenges of building and maintaining these embassies are immense. Constructing habitats on the Moon or in orbit requires advanced technology, from life support systems to radiation shielding. Transporting materials and personnel across vast distances will demand unprecedented levels of coordination and investment, but the rewards could be transformative. Space embassies would allow nations to collaborate on shared goals such as scientific research, resource management, and even conflict resolution in a neutral environment far removed from Earth's geopolitical tensions. Politically, the establishment of space embassies will redefine how nations interact. These outposts will serve as platforms for dialogue, negotiation, and cultural exchange, creating opportunities for diplomacy that transcend traditional borders. For example, a lunar embassy could host multinational summits where leaders work together to draft agreements on space exploration or asteroid mining. Orbital stations, with their unique vantage point of Earth, might become centers for monitoring and addressing global crises, from climate change to natural disasters. The role of these embassies in fostering interstellar cooperation cannot be overstated. By bringing nations together in space, they'll encourage a spirit of unity and shared purpose. Imagine astronauts and diplomats from different countries living and working side by side, solving problems that affect all of humanity. This collaborative environment could pave the way for even more ambitious projects, like joint missions to Mars or the establishment of interstellar trade routes. As we look to the future, the rise of space embassies represents a bold step forward in diplomacy. They'll not only expand humanity's presence in the cosmos, but also redefine how we work together as a global community. And with that, let's move on to the next prediction, where we'll explore how space treaties will evolve to meet the challenges of this new frontier. Now, shifting our focus to the next frontier of diplomacy, let's delve into the evolution of space treaties. The Outer Space Treaty, signed in 1967, laid the foundation for international space law, declaring that space is the province of all humankind and prohibiting nations from claiming sovereignty over celestial bodies. But as humanity's presence in space grows, so too must the frameworks that govern it. Future space treaties will need to address complex issues like resource sharing, territorial claims, and conflict resolution in ways that the original treaty never anticipated. One of the most pressing challenges will be managing the extraction and distribution of space resources. Asteroids, for example, are rich in rare minerals like platinum and cobalt, which could revolutionize industries on Earth. But who has the right to mine these resources? Future treaties will need to establish clear guidelines to ensure that space mining is conducted fairly and sustainably, preventing a scenario where only a few nations or corporations monopolize these valuable assets. This could involve creating international bodies to oversee resource allocation or setting up revenue-sharing models that benefit all of humanity. Territorial claims will also become a hot-button issue as nations and private entities establish permanent settlements on the Moon, Mars, and beyond. While the Outer Space Treaty prohibits national appropriation of celestial bodies, it doesn't address the practical realities of colonization. Future agreements may need to strike a balance between allowing nations and companies to develop infrastructure in space while ensuring that no single entity can claim exclusive rights over large areas. This could lead to the creation of space zoning systems where regions are designated for specific uses, such as scientific research, habitation, or industrial activity. Conflict resolution in space will require entirely new approaches. Unlike on Earth, where disputes can be mediated through established institutions like the United Nations, space lacks a centralized authority. Future treaties might establish orbital mediation centers where disputes over resource access, territorial boundaries, or even accidental collisions can be resolved peacefully. These centers could leverage advanced technologies such as artificial intelligence to analyze data and propose fair solutions, ensuring that conflicts are resolved quickly and equitably. The evolution of space treaties will also need to address the growing role of private corporations. Companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin are already playing a significant role in space exploration, and their influence will only increase. Future agreements must ensure that these corporations operate within a framework that prioritizes international cooperation and the common good, rather than purely profit-driven motives. This could involve creating public-private partnerships or requiring corporations to contribute to global space initiatives. As we look ahead, the development of comprehensive space treaties will be essential for maintaining peace and cooperation in the cosmos. These agreements will not only address the practical challenges of space exploration, but also reflect humanity's shared values and aspirations. With that in mind, let's turn our attention to the next prediction, where we'll explore how private corporations are reshaping the landscape of space diplomacy. Now, let's explore how private corporations are stepping into the spotlight of space diplomacy. Companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin are no longer just pioneers of space exploration. They're becoming key players in shaping the future of international relations beyond Earth. As these corporations expand their reach into the cosmos, they're uniquely positioned to act as intermediaries between nations, fostering collaboration and driving innovation in ways that traditional governments cannot. One of the most significant roles these companies will play is in policy making. With their cutting-edge technologies and ambitious projects, private corporations are already influencing how nations approach space exploration. For instance, SpaceX's reusable rockets have drastically reduced the cost of launching payloads into orbit, making space more accessible to countries that previously couldn't afford it. This technological leap has prompted governments to rethink their space strategies, often collaborating with private entities to achieve shared goals. In the future, we can expect these companies to have a seat at the table during international negotiations, offering expertise and solutions that shape the rules of space diplomacy. But it's not just about technology. Private corporations are also bridging gaps between nations. In a world where geopolitical tensions can hinder cooperation, companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin operate outside traditional political boundaries. They can facilitate joint missions, bringing together nations that might otherwise struggle to collaborate. Imagine a scenario where a SpaceX-led mission to Mars includes astronauts from rival nations working side by side to achieve a common objective. Such initiatives could pave the way for stronger diplomatic ties, proving that space exploration has the power to unite humanity. However, this growing influence also raises important questions about accountability. As private corporations take on a more prominent role in space diplomacy, there's a risk that their profit-driven motives could clash with the broader interests of humanity. To address this, future agreements may need to establish clear guidelines for corporate involvement in space activities. This could include requiring companies to contribute to global space initiatives or ensuring that their operations align with international standards for sustainability and equity. Ultimately, the rise of private corporations in space diplomacy represents a new chapter in humanity's journey beyond Earth. By leveraging their expertise and resources, these companies have the potential to accelerate progress and foster unprecedented levels of international cooperation. As we look to the stars, it's clear that the future of space diplomacy will be shaped not just by nations, but by the visionary leaders of the private sector. With that in mind, let's turn our attention to the next prediction, where we'll examine how space could become a neutral ground for resolving Earth-based conflicts. Now, let's shift our focus to a fascinating possibility: how space could serve as a neutral ground for resolving conflicts here on Earth. Imagine a future where orbital mediation centers high above our planet become the go-to venues for peace negotiations. These centers, free from the political and cultural biases that often complicate discussions on Earth, could offer a fresh perspective, quite literally, on how to resolve disputes. One of the key advantages of space-based conflict resolution is the unique environment it provides. In orbit, away from the pressures and distractions of terrestrial politics, diplomats and leaders might find it easier to focus on common goals. The sheer act of looking down at Earth from space has been known to inspire a sense of unity and shared responsibility, often referred to as the overview effect. This psychological shift could foster a more cooperative mindset, making it easier to reach agreements that benefit all parties involved. But it's not just about the setting. Space technology itself could play a crucial role in monitoring and enforcing peace agreements. Satellites equipped with advanced sensors could provide real-time data on troop movements, resource usage, and environmental changes, ensuring that all parties adhere to the terms of a treaty. For example, if a peace agreement includes a no-fly zone, satellites could detect any violations instantly, allowing for swift diplomatic or legal responses. This level of transparency could build trust between nations, reducing the likelihood of misunderstandings or breaches. Moreover, space-based mediation centers could host neutral third parties, such as international organizations or even artificial intelligence systems, to facilitate discussions. These mediators could analyze vast amounts of data to propose fair and balanced solutions, free from the biases that sometimes plague human negotiators. Over time, this could lead to more effective and lasting peace agreements, as decisions will be based on objective criteria rather than political maneuvering. Of course, there are challenges to consider. Establishing and maintaining orbital mediation centers would require significant investment and international cooperation. There's also the question of how to ensure that these centers remain truly neutral, free from the influence of any single nation or corporation. But if these hurdles can be overcome, the potential benefits are immense. Space could become not just a frontier for exploration, but a vital tool for fostering peace and stability on Earth. As we look ahead, it's clear that space-based conflict resolution could redefine how we approach diplomacy. By leveraging the unique advantages of space, humanity might finally find a way to resolve conflicts that have seemed intractable for generations. With that in mind, let's move on to our next prediction, where we'll explore how nations might form alliances specifically for space exploration and defense. Now let's turn our attention to a future where nations come together not just on Earth but among the stars. Picture this: alliances specifically formed for space exploration and defense, uniting countries with shared goals and visions for humanity's future beyond our planet. These space alliances could redefine international cooperation, creating frameworks that extend far beyond our atmosphere. One such example might be a Lunar Coalition, a partnership of nations dedicated to exploring and developing the Moon. This coalition could pool resources, share scientific knowledge, and establish joint missions to build lunar bases or mine valuable resources like helium-3, a potential fuel for future fusion reactors. By working together, these nations could reduce costs, minimize risks, and accelerate progress, all while fostering a spirit of collaboration that benefits everyone involved. Similarly, a Mars Pact could emerge as a groundbreaking agreement among countries aiming to colonize the Red Planet. This pact might outline shared responsibilities such as building infrastructure, managing resources, and ensuring the safety of Martian settlers. It could also address potential challenges like how to govern a new society millions of miles from Earth. The geopolitical significance of such an alliance would be immense, as it could set the stage for a new era of interstellar diplomacy and cooperation. But why stop at exploration? Space alliances could also play a critical role in defense. As humanity expands into the cosmos, the need to protect assets like satellites, space stations, and colonies will become increasingly important. Alliances focused on space defense could develop shared strategies to safeguard these assets from threats, whether they come from natural hazards like asteroids or human-made challenges like space debris or potential conflicts. By working together, nations could create a safer and more secure environment for all spacefaring entities. Of course, forming these alliances won't be without its challenges. Nations will need to navigate complex political dynamics, balance competing interests, and ensure that all members feel their contributions are valued. Trust will be key, as will a commitment to transparency and fairness. But if successful, these alliances could pave the way for a future where humanity's presence in space is not just a series of isolated efforts, but a unified endeavor. As we look to the stars, it's clear that space alliances could become a cornerstone of international relations in the coming decades. By uniting under shared goals, nations can achieve far more together than they ever could alone. And with that in mind, let's explore how space itself could be viewed as a shared resource, and what that means for global collaboration. Now, let's shift our focus to a concept that could redefine how humanity approaches space: the idea of space as a shared resource. Imagine a future where the vast expanse beyond Earth is treated not as a frontier for individual nations to claim, but as a global commons, a place where resources are managed collectively for the benefit of all. This vision of space as a shared resource could transform how we think about exploration, sustainability, and fairness on a cosmic scale. One of the most exciting possibilities lies in asteroid mining. Asteroids are rich in rare minerals like platinum, gold, and cobalt, which are essential for advanced technologies on Earth. But instead of nations or corporations racing to exploit these resources independently, a collaborative approach could ensure that the benefits are shared equitably. Imagine an international framework where mining operations are regulated by a global body, ensuring that profits are distributed fairly and that environmental impacts are minimized. This could prevent a space gold rush mentality and foster a spirit of cooperation that prioritizes long-term sustainability over short-term gains. Similarly, lunar water, found in the form of ice at the Moon's poles, could become a critical resource for future space missions. Water can be split into hydrogen and oxygen, providing both fuel for spacecraft and breathable air for astronauts. But managing this resource responsibly will require careful planning. A shared approach could involve creating international agreements to allocate water extraction rights. ensuring that no single nation monopolizes this vital resource. By working together, nations could ensure that lunar water supports not just individual missions, but the broader goal of establishing a sustainable human presence in space. Of course, the challenges of equitable distribution and sustainability are significant. How do we decide who gets access to which resources? How do we ensure that developing nations have a voice in these decisions? And how do we prevent overexploitation that could harm the delicate balance of space ecosystems? These questions will require innovative solutions and a commitment to fairness and transparency. One potential approach could involve creating a space resource management organization, similar to how the International Seabed Authority governs deep-sea mining on Earth. This body could set guidelines, mediate disputes, and ensure that space resources are used responsibly and equitably. Sustainability will also be a key concern. Space may seem infinite, but its resources are not. Without careful management, we risk repeating the mistakes we've made on Earth, overexploiting resources and damaging ecosystems. By treating space as a shared resource, we can prioritize sustainable practices from the start. This might include setting limits on resource extraction, investing in technologies that minimize waste, and creating systems to recycle materials in space habitats. As we look to the future, the concept of space as a shared resource offers a powerful vision of international collaboration. By working together to manage these resources, nations can ensure that the benefits of space exploration are felt by all of humanity, not just a privileged few. And with that in mind, let's explore how artificial intelligence could play a pivotal role in shaping the future of space-based diplomacy. Now, let's turn our attention to a game-changing force that could revolutionize how nations interact in space: artificial intelligence. As humanity ventures further into the cosmos, the complexity of space-based diplomacy will grow exponentially. Artificial intelligence has the potential to become an indispensable tool in navigating these challenges, offering solutions that are faster, more efficient, and more impartial than traditional methods. One of the most immediate applications of artificial intelligence in space diplomacy is communication. With missions spanning vast distances and involving multiple nations, the need for real-time, accurate communication is critical. Artificial intelligence can act as a universal translator, breaking down language barriers and ensuring that messages are conveyed clearly and without misinterpretation. Imagine a scenario where astronauts from different countries, speaking different languages, can collaborate seamlessly thanks to artificial intelligence systems that translate conversations instantly. This not only fosters cooperation, but also reduces the risk of misunderstandings that could escalate into conflicts. Beyond communication, artificial intelligence could play a central role in decision-making. Space missions often involve high-stakes scenarios where split-second decisions can mean the difference between success and failure. Artificial intelligence systems, equipped with vast amounts of data and advanced algorithms, can analyze complex situations and provide recommendations in real time. For example, during a joint mission to Mars, artificial intelligence could assess environmental conditions, predict potential hazards, and suggest the best course of action, all while considering the input and priorities of multiple nations. This collaborative approach ensures that decisions are made with the collective good in mind, rather than the interests of a single party. However, the rise of artificial intelligence in space diplomacy also raises important ethical questions. Who is responsible if an artificial intelligence system makes a mistake? How do we ensure that these systems remain unbiased and fair, especially when they are designed by specific nations or corporations? These concerns highlight the need for international guidelines governing the use of artificial intelligence in space. A global framework could establish standards for transparency, accountability, and ethical use, ensuring that artificial intelligence serves as a tool for unity rather than division. Another fascinating possibility is the use of artificial intelligence in negotiations. Imagine a future where artificial intelligence acts as a neutral mediator, facilitating discussions between nations with conflicting interests. By analyzing historical data, cultural nuances, and current geopolitical dynamics, artificial intelligence could propose solutions that balance competing priorities and foster mutual understanding. This could be particularly valuable in resolving disputes over resource allocation or territorial claims in space, where emotions and national pride often complicate negotiations. As we look ahead, the integration of artificial intelligence into space diplomacy offers both incredible opportunities and significant challenges. By embracing this technology thoughtfully and responsibly, we can create a future where artificial intelligence enhances cooperation, reduces conflict, and helps humanity navigate the complexities of space together. And with that in mind, let's explore how space habitats could become melting pots of culture, fostering unprecedented levels of international collaboration. Now, let's shift our focus to a truly transformative aspect of space-based diplomacy: the potential for cultural exchange in space habitats. As humanity establishes permanent settlements on the Moon, Mars, and beyond, these habitats will become more than just scientific outposts. They will evolve into vibrant hubs of cultural diversity. Picture a space station where astronauts, scientists, and engineers from dozens of nations live and work side by side, bringing with them their unique traditions, languages, and perspectives. This melting pot of cultures has the power to foster unprecedented levels of international collaboration, breaking down barriers and building bridges of understanding. One of the most powerful tools for unity in these space habitats will be art. Imagine murals painted by artists from different countries, each contributing their own style and story to a shared masterpiece. Or consider music composed collaboratively by musicians from diverse backgrounds, blending instruments and melodies from around the world. Art has a unique ability to transcend language and cultural differences, creating a sense of shared identity and purpose. In the confined quarters of a space habitat, where every inch of space matters, art could serve as a reminder of our common humanity and the beauty of our diversity. Language, too, will play a crucial role in fostering cultural exchange. While artificial intelligence may help bridge communication gaps, the act of learning and speaking each other's languages can deepen connections and build trust. Imagine astronauts teaching each other phrases in their native tongues, sharing stories from their homelands, and celebrating each other's festivals. These small but meaningful interactions can create a sense of camaraderie and mutual respect, essential for long-term collaboration in space. Shared experiences will also be a cornerstone of cultural unity in space. Living and working in such an extreme environment will require individuals to rely on one another in ways they never have before. From conducting experiments to solving technical challenges, every success and failure will be a collective effort. These shared triumphs and struggles will forge bonds that transcend national borders, creating a sense of belonging to something greater than any single nation or culture. Over time, these experiences could give rise to a new space-based identity, one that celebrates diversity while emphasizing our shared goals and aspirations. Of course, fostering cultural exchange in space won't be without its challenges. Differences in values, customs, and communication styles could lead to misunderstandings or conflicts. But these challenges also present opportunities for growth. By navigating these differences with empathy and openness, spacefarers can develop new ways of resolving conflicts and building consensus, setting an example for how humanity can coexist peacefully on Earth. As we look to the future, the cultural exchange that takes place in space habitats could have a profound impact on how we view ourselves and our place in the universe. By embracing diversity and fostering collaboration, we can create a model for international relations that prioritizes unity over division, cooperation over competition. And with that in mind, let's explore how the militarization of space could reshape diplomatic dynamics and what steps we can take to prevent an arms race beyond our planet. As we venture further into the cosmos, the conversation around the militarization of space becomes increasingly urgent. The idea of weaponizing space is not new, but as nations expand their presence beyond Earth, the stakes are higher than ever. The potential for space militarization could lead to a new era of diplomatic tensions, as countries vie for dominance over strategic orbits, lunar territories, and even asteroid resources. This shift could destabilize the delicate balance of international relations, turning space into a new frontier for conflict rather than cooperation. One of the most pressing concerns is the development of space-based weapons, such as anti-satellite missiles or orbital defense systems. These technologies could disrupt global communication networks, cripple Earth-based infrastructure, and even threaten the safety of astronauts and space habitats. The destruction of a single satellite, for example, could create a cascade of debris, endangering countless other missions and rendering entire orbits unusable. Such actions would not only escalate tensions between nations, but also undermine the collaborative spirit that has driven space exploration thus far. To prevent an arms race in space, international cooperation will be essential. Existing treaties, like the Outer Space Treaty of 1967, provide a foundation for peaceful space exploration, but they need to be updated and expanded to address modern challenges. A new framework could include strict regulations on the development and deployment of space-based weapons, as well as mechanisms for monitoring and enforcing compliance. Transparency will be key. Nations must be willing to share information about their space activities and work together to build trust. Another approach is to establish neutral zones in space, similar to the Antarctic Treaty, which designates the continent as a scientific preserve free from military activity. Certain orbits or celestial bodies could be declared off-limits for militarization, ensuring they remain dedicated to peaceful exploration and research. These zones could serve as symbols of international unity, reminding us that space is a shared resource that belongs to all of humanity. Collaborative projects could also play a crucial role in preventing conflict. By working together on ambitious missions, such as building a lunar base or exploring Mars, nations can build mutual trust and demonstrate the benefits of cooperation. Shared goals and achievements can help shift the narrative from competition to collaboration, showing that the challenges of space are best tackled together rather than in isolation. Ultimately, the militarization of space is a challenge that requires a global response. By prioritizing diplomacy, transparency, and shared responsibility, we can ensure that space remains a realm of peace and discovery. As we look to the stars, let us remember that our greatest strength lies not in our ability to dominate, but in our capacity to unite. And with that thought, let's explore how space tourism could become a powerful tool for diplomacy, bringing leaders and citizens together in ways we've never imagined. Now, let's shift our gaze to a more optimistic and unifying aspect of space exploration: space tourism as a diplomatic tool. Imagine a future where world leaders, diplomats, and influential figures from across the globe gather not in traditional conference rooms, but in the weightless environment of a space station or aboard a luxury spacecraft. These meetings in orbit could redefine diplomacy, offering a neutral and awe-inspiring setting for discussions that shape the future of humanity. The symbolic power of such gatherings cannot be overstated. Meeting in space, far above the borders and conflicts of Earth, could serve as a powerful reminder of our shared humanity and the fragility of our planet. The experience of seeing Earth from orbit, a small, blue sphere against the vastness of space, has been described by astronauts as profoundly transformative. This overview effect could inspire leaders to approach global issues with a renewed sense of urgency and cooperation, fostering a spirit of unity that transcends national interests. Space tourism could also provide a unique platform for cultural exchange and mutual understanding, as private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin make space travel more accessible. The opportunity for citizens from different nations to interact in orbit could break down barriers and build bridges. Imagine artists, scientists, and educators from diverse backgrounds collaborating on projects in microgravity, sharing ideas that could lead to breakthroughs in technology, art, and global cooperation. Moreover, the act of traveling to space together could create a sense of camaraderie among participants. The shared experience of overcoming the challenges of space travel, such as adapting to weightlessness or witnessing the Earth's curvature, could forge bonds that translate into stronger diplomatic relationships back on Earth. These personal connections could pave the way for more effective negotiations and collaborative efforts to address pressing global challenges, from climate change to economic inequality. Of course, the rise of space tourism as a diplomatic tool would require careful planning and international coordination. Ensuring equitable access to these opportunities will be crucial, so that space diplomacy doesn't become exclusive to wealthy nations or individuals. By making space tourism a shared endeavor, we can amplify its potential to bring people together and foster a sense of global citizenship. As we look ahead, the possibilities are as vast as space itself. From orbital summits to collaborative space missions, the fusion of tourism and diplomacy could open new avenues for peace and progress. And with that vision in mind, let's turn our attention to the evolving role of space agencies in shaping the future of international relations. Now, let's explore how space agencies, often seen as scientific and exploratory entities, are poised to take on a new and transformative role in the realm of diplomacy. Organizations like NASA, the European Space Agency, and the China National Space Administration are no longer just focused on launching rockets and conducting experiments. They are increasingly becoming key players in shaping international relations and fostering global cooperation. As space exploration becomes more complex and resource-intensive, the need for collaboration among nations has never been greater. Space agencies are uniquely positioned to bridge gaps between countries, acting as neutral platforms where shared goals can be pursued. For instance, the International Space Station stands as a testament to what can be achieved when nations work together. This orbiting laboratory, built and maintained by multiple countries, has not only advanced scientific knowledge but also strengthened diplomatic ties among its partners. Looking ahead, space agencies could take on even more significant diplomatic roles. Imagine a future where these organizations facilitate joint missions to the Moon, Mars, or even asteroids, bringing together nations with diverse interests and capabilities. Such collaborations would not only pool resources and expertise, but also create opportunities for dialogue and trust building. By working together on ambitious projects, countries could develop a shared sense of purpose and mutual respect, laying the groundwork for stronger diplomatic relationships on Earth. Moreover, space agencies could play a pivotal role in setting global space policies. As humanity ventures further into the cosmos, questions about resource allocation, territorial claims, and environmental stewardship will need to be addressed. Space agencies, with their technical expertise and international reach, could lead the way in crafting agreements that ensure space remains a peaceful and cooperative domain. This might involve creating frameworks for asteroid mining, establishing guidelines for lunar settlements, or developing protocols for managing space debris. The evolution of space agencies into diplomatic entities also opens the door for greater inclusivity. By involving emerging spacefaring nations and developing countries in collaborative projects, these organizations can help level the playing field and ensure that the benefits of space exploration are shared more equitably. This approach not only promotes fairness but also strengthens the global community's commitment to using space for the common good. As we consider the future, it's clear that space agencies will be at the forefront of a new era of diplomacy, one that transcends borders and unites humanity in the pursuit of shared goals. With their unique blend of scientific expertise and international influence, these organizations have the potential to redefine how nations interact both in space and on Earth. And as we look to the stars, let's turn our attention to how space technology could address one of humanity's most pressing challenges: environmental crises. Now, let's shift our gaze to how space technology could become a powerful tool in addressing Earth's most urgent environmental challenges. As our planet faces escalating climate crises, space-based solutions are emerging as a critical frontier for global cooperation and innovation. Satellites and space-based observatories are already playing a vital role in monitoring climate change, tracking deforestation, and measuring sea level rise. But in the future, their capabilities could expand far beyond observation, becoming central to how humanity responds to environmental threats. Imagine a world where satellites not only detect wildfires or hurricanes, but also coordinate real-time disaster response efforts. Space-based systems could provide early warnings for extreme weather events, giving communities precious time to prepare and evacuate. They could also map disaster zones in incredible detail, helping relief organizations allocate resources more effectively. This kind of global coordination, powered by space technology, could save countless lives and reduce the economic impact of natural disasters, but the potential doesn't stop there. Space-based environmental diplomacy could also foster unprecedented levels of international collaboration. For instance, nations could come together to create a shared satellite network dedicated to monitoring greenhouse gas emissions. This network could provide transparent, real-time data on carbon footprints, holding countries accountable and encouraging more ambitious climate action. By pooling resources and expertise, nations could develop advanced technologies for carbon capture, renewable energy distribution, and even geoengineering solutions, all monitored and managed from space. One particularly exciting possibility is the use of space-based solar power to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. Imagine massive solar arrays orbiting Earth, harvesting sunlight 24 hours a day and beaming clean energy back to the planet. This technology could revolutionize global energy systems, providing a sustainable alternative to coal and oil. However, its success would depend on international cooperation, as the infrastructure required would be too vast and costly for any single nation to build alone. Space-based environmental diplomacy could pave the way for such collaborative projects, ensuring that the benefits of space technology are shared equitably. Of course, challenges remain. Issues like data sharing, funding, and geopolitical tensions could complicate efforts to harness space for environmental solutions. But the stakes are too high to ignore the potential. By working together, nations could turn space into a unifying force, a platform for addressing shared challenges and protecting our planet for future generations. As we look to the stars, let's not forget that one of their greatest gifts might be the ability to help us heal Earth. And with that in mind, let's explore how space colonization could reshape Earth's political landscape in ways we've only begun to imagine. Now, let's turn our attention to a fascinating question. How might the colonization of Mars or the Moon reshape the political dynamics here on Earth? As humanity ventures beyond our planet, the establishment of new settlements in space could lead to the emergence of entirely new nations or territories. This shift would not only redefine borders but also challenge existing diplomatic frameworks, forcing Earth's governments to adapt to a new era of interstellar politics. Imagine a future where the first Martian colony declares itself an independent nation. This new entity, born millions of miles away, would need to negotiate its place in the global order. How would Earth's nations respond? Would they recognize the sovereignty of a space-based nation? Or would they seek to extend their own influence over these distant territories? The answers to these questions could spark a wave of diplomatic innovation, as traditional concepts of statehood and sovereignty are reimagined for the space age. One possibility is the creation of a United Nations of Space, a governing body designed to mediate disputes and set policies for space colonization. This organization could establish guidelines for resource sharing, territorial claims, and the rights of space colonists, ensuring that the benefits of space exploration are distributed fairly. However, achieving such cooperation would require overcoming significant geopolitical challenges. Nations with advanced space programs might seek to dominate these new territories, while others could push for equal access and representation. The colonization of space could also lead to the rise of new alliances and rivalries. For example, a coalition of nations working together to establish a lunar base might form a Lunar Pact, a space-focused alliance with its own set of goals and priorities. Similarly, competition over valuable resources, such as water ice on the Moon or minerals on Mars, could create tensions between Earth's powers and the emerging space nations. These dynamics would add a new layer of complexity to international relations, blending Earth-based politics with the realities of life in space. At the same time, the colonization of space could inspire a renewed sense of global unity. The challenges of building and sustaining life on another planet might encourage nations to set aside their differences and work together for the common good. Space colonization could become a shared project, uniting humanity in a way that transcends borders and ideologies. This spirit of collaboration could extend back to Earth, fostering greater cooperation in addressing global challenges like climate change and inequality. As we look to the stars, it's clear that space colonization will have profound implications for Earth's political landscape. The emergence of new nations, the redefinition of sovereignty, and the potential for both conflict and cooperation will shape the future of diplomacy in ways we can only begin to imagine. And with that in mind, let's explore how space economies could lead to new trade alliances and reshape global economic partnerships. Now, let's shift our focus to the economic frontier of space and how it could redefine global trade alliances. As humanity expands its presence beyond Earth, the resources found in space, such as rare minerals, water ice, and even helium-3, will become the foundation of a new economic era. These resources, once the stuff of science fiction, are now within reach, and their extraction and distribution could lead to the formation of unprecedented trade partnerships. Picture this, a future where nations and corporations collaborate to mine asteroids rich in platinum, gold, and other rare elements. These materials, which are scarce on Earth, could revolutionize industries like technology, energy, and manufacturing. But here's the catch: accessing these resources will require immense investment and cooperation. This necessity could spark the creation of space-based economic alliances where countries pool their resources, share technology, and divide the benefits of space mining. For example, a coalition of nations might form a Space Resource Alliance, agreeing to jointly fund missions to extract and transport materials from the Moon or asteroids. Such partnerships could help distribute the financial risks and rewards, ensuring that no single nation dominates the space economy. At the same time, these alliances could foster trust and collaboration, laying the groundwork for broader diplomatic efforts in space. However, the rise of space economies won't be without challenges. Disputes over resource ownership and distribution could strain relationships between nations. Who gets to claim the resources of a particular asteroid? How will profits be shared among alliance members? These questions will require careful negotiation and the development of new legal frameworks to ensure fairness and prevent conflict. Beyond minerals, space-based energy sources like solar power satellites could also play a pivotal role in shaping economic alliances. Imagine a future where solar energy harvested in space is beamed back to Earth, providing clean, limitless power to nations around the globe. Countries with advanced space programs could lead the way in developing this technology, forming alliances with energy-dependent nations to share the benefits. This could create a new kind of energy diplomacy where access to space-based power becomes a cornerstone of international relations. The economic potential of space is vast, but it also demands a shift in how we think about trade and cooperation. As space resources become more accessible, the lines between Earth-based and space-based economies will blur, creating opportunities for innovation and collaboration on a scale we've never seen before. And with that in mind, let's explore how space will become a critical component of global security, shaping the way nations protect their interests both on Earth and beyond. Now, let's turn our attention to the skies above and explore how space will play a pivotal role in shaping global security. As nations expand their presence beyond Earth, the strategic importance of space will only grow, transforming it into a critical arena for safeguarding national and international interests. Imagine a future where satellites orbiting Earth serve as the eyes and ears of global security. These advanced systems could monitor everything from military movements to natural disasters, providing real-time data that helps nations respond swiftly to threats. Space-based surveillance could offer unparalleled transparency, reducing the likelihood of misunderstandings or miscalculations that might lead to conflict. For instance, if two nations are on the brink of a dispute, satellite imagery could provide clear evidence to de-escalate tensions, acting as a neutral arbiter in sensitive situations. But the role of space in global security doesn't stop at surveillance. Early warning systems stationed in orbit could detect missile launches, cyber attacks, or even environmental hazards like solar flares. These systems would give nations precious minutes or even hours to prepare and respond, potentially saving countless lives. Picture a scenario where a satellite detects an incoming missile launch and immediately relays the information to defense systems on Earth, enabling a swift and precise countermeasure. This kind of technology could redefine the concept of national defense, making space an indispensable layer of protection. However, the militarization of space also raises complex questions. As nations develop space-based defense systems, the risk of an arms race in orbit becomes a real concern. How do we ensure that space remains a domain for peaceful cooperation rather than conflict? This is where diplomacy will play a crucial role. International agreements, like updated versions of the Outer Space Treaty, could establish clear rules for the use of space in security contexts, ensuring that no single nation dominates this critical frontier. Moreover, the integration of space technology into global security could foster unprecedented levels of international collaboration. Nations might form alliances to share data from their surveillance satellites, creating a unified network that enhances global stability. For example, a coalition of countries could pool resources to maintain a constellation of satellites dedicated to monitoring climate change or tracking illegal activities like piracy or human trafficking. Such efforts would not only strengthen security but also build trust and cooperation among nations. As we look to the future, it's clear that space will become an integral part of how we protect our planet and its people. From surveillance to early warning systems, the possibilities are vast, but so are the challenges. Balancing the benefits of space-based security with the need for peaceful cooperation will require careful diplomacy and forward-thinking policies. And with that in mind, let's dive into how space will revolutionize global communication, connecting people and nations in ways we've never imagined. Now, let's shift our gaze to the stars and envision how space could become a classroom without borders, revolutionizing education and diplomacy in ways we've only dreamed of. Picture this: international space schools orbiting Earth, where students from every corner of the globe come together to learn, collaborate, and innovate. These schools wouldn't just teach science and technology, they'd also serve as incubators for the next generation of diplomats, equipped with the skills to navigate the complexities of interstellar relations. Imagine a curriculum that blends astrophysics with cultural studies, where students from different nations work side by side on projects like designing sustainable space habitats or developing protocols for extraterrestrial resource sharing. These collaborative efforts would foster mutual understanding and respect, breaking down barriers that often divide us on Earth. By learning together in the unique environment of space, students would gain first-hand experience in overcoming challenges as a united team, preparing them to tackle global issues with a spirit of cooperation. But the impact of space-based education wouldn't stop at the classroom. These schools could also serve as hubs for diplomatic training, where future leaders learn to negotiate and resolve conflicts in a neutral, zero-gravity setting. Think about it, what better way to teach the art of diplomacy than in an environment where every decision affects the survival and success of the entire group? This immersive experience would instill a deep sense of responsibility and empathy, qualities essential for effective leadership in an interconnected world. Moreover, space-based education initiatives could bridge the gap between nations by making cutting-edge knowledge accessible to all. Imagine a network of satellites broadcasting educational content to remote or underserved regions, ensuring that no one is left behind in the race for space exploration. This democratization of knowledge could empower communities worldwide, fostering a sense of shared purpose and collective progress. As we look to the future, the potential for space-based education to shape diplomacy is immense. By bringing people together in the ultimate frontier, we can cultivate a generation of leaders who see beyond borders and work together to build a brighter future for humanity. And with that in mind, let's explore how space will play a role in preserving our cultural heritage, ensuring that the stories and traditions of Earth endure for generations to come. Now, as we venture further into the cosmos, we must pause to consider the ethical dimensions of space diplomacy. The vastness of space brings with it not only opportunities but also profound moral questions that demand our attention. One of the most pressing dilemmas revolves around the rights of space colonists. Imagine a future where humans establish permanent settlements on the Moon, Mars, or even distant exoplanets. Who decides the laws that govern these colonies? Should they be subject to the jurisdiction of their home nations, or will they develop their own independent legal systems? These questions challenge our understanding of sovereignty and human rights in an entirely new context. Another critical ethical issue is the moral responsibility of spacefaring nations. As countries and private entities race to explore and exploit space resources, we must ask, who ensures that these activities are conducted fairly and sustainably? The extraction of rare minerals from asteroids, for example, could lead to significant economic disparities if not regulated properly. Without a universal framework, there's a risk that powerful nations or corporations could dominate space, leaving others behind. This raises the question of how we can create a system that promotes equity and prevents the exploitation of space for the benefit of a few. Moreover, the very act of colonizing space brings up ethical concerns about our impact on extraterrestrial environments. If we discover microbial life on Mars or elsewhere, how do we balance our desire to explore with the need to preserve these ecosystems? The principle of planetary protection must be at the forefront of our efforts, ensuring that we do not inadvertently harm or destroy life forms that may exist beyond Earth. This requires a global consensus on how to approach exploration responsibly with respect for the unknown. To address these challenges, the development of a universal space ethics framework is essential. Such a framework would establish guidelines for fair resource distribution, protect the rights of space colonists, and ensure that exploration is conducted with respect for extraterrestrial environments. It would also provide a platform for resolving disputes and fostering cooperation among nations. By creating a shared set of ethical principles, we can ensure that space remains a realm of collaboration rather than conflict, where humanity's collective interests take precedence over individual ambitions. As we continue to push the boundaries of what's possible in space, these ethical considerations will play a crucial role in shaping the future of space diplomacy. They remind us that while the stars may be limitless, our actions must be guided by a sense of responsibility and respect for all forms of life, both on Earth and beyond. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to how space will become a vital tool in addressing global disasters, uniting nations in times of crisis. As we shift our focus to the practical applications of space technology, let's explore how nations will come together to address one of humanity's most urgent challenges: disaster relief. In the future, space-based disaster relief alliances will play a pivotal role in coordinating global responses to crises, leveraging the unique capabilities of satellites and space stations to save lives and mitigate damage on Earth. Satellites, with their ability to monitor vast areas in real time, will become indispensable tools for disaster prediction and response. Imagine a network of advanced satellites equipped with high-resolution imaging and sensors, constantly scanning the planet for signs of natural disasters such as hurricanes, earthquakes, or wildfires. These satellites can provide early warnings, giving communities precious time to prepare and evacuate. For instance, a satellite detecting unusual seismic activity could alert regions at risk of an impending earthquake, potentially saving thousands of lives. Space stations, too, will serve as critical hubs for disaster management. Orbiting platforms like the International Space Station could be expanded or replicated to include specialized modules for coordinating relief efforts. These stations would act as command centers where experts from around the world can collaborate in real time, analyzing data from satellites and directing resources to affected areas. Picture a scenario where a massive flood strikes a remote region. A space station could quickly assess the situation, deploy drones or robotic systems to deliver supplies, and guide rescue teams on the ground with pinpoint accuracy. The collaboration between nations in these efforts will be key. Space-based disaster relief alliances will bring together countries with advanced space programs and those with limited resources, fostering a spirit of global unity. For example, a nation with advanced satellite technology might share its data with others, enabling a coordinated response to a tsunami that affects multiple countries. This kind of cooperation will not only enhance the effectiveness of disaster relief, but also strengthen diplomatic ties as nations work together toward a common goal. Moreover, space technology will enable more efficient resource allocation during crises. Satellites can map out the most affected areas, identify safe zones, and track the movement of displaced populations. This information will help relief organizations prioritize their efforts, ensuring that aid reaches those who need it most. In the aftermath of a disaster, satellites can also monitor recovery efforts, assessing damage and guiding reconstruction projects. The potential for space-based disaster relief alliances extends beyond immediate crises. Over time, the data collected by satellites and space stations will contribute to a deeper understanding of natural disasters, helping scientists predict and mitigate future events. This knowledge could lead to the development of more resilient infrastructure, better urban planning, and improved emergency preparedness worldwide. As we look to the future, it's clear that space will become a vital tool in addressing global disasters. By uniting nations through space-based alliances, we can create a more coordinated, efficient, and compassionate response to crises, ensuring that no community is left to face disaster alone. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to how space technology will revolutionize global health initiatives, offering new solutions to some of humanity's most pressing challenges. Now, let's shift our gaze to how space technology will play a transformative role in global health diplomacy, offering innovative solutions to some of humanity's most pressing health challenges. As nations continue to expand their presence in space, The unique capabilities of satellites, space stations, and other orbital technologies will become invaluable tools in addressing pandemics, improving healthcare systems, and fostering international collaboration in the field of medicine. One of the most significant contributions of space technology to global health will be its ability to monitor and track the spread of diseases. Satellites equipped with advanced sensors can observe environmental changes that influence the spread of illnesses such as deforestation, urbanization, and climate shifts. For example, by analyzing satellite data, scientists can predict the emergence of vector-borne diseases like malaria or dengue fever, enabling governments to implement preventive measures before outbreaks occur. This kind of early warning system could save countless lives and reduce the economic impact of pandemics. Space-based research will also revolutionize our understanding of human health. Microgravity environments, like those found on the International Space Station, provide unique conditions for studying biological processes that are difficult to replicate on Earth. Researchers can conduct experiments on how the human body responds to prolonged weightlessness, leading to breakthroughs in areas such as bone density loss, muscle atrophy, and immune system function. These findings could translate into new treatments for conditions like osteoporosis or chronic illnesses, benefiting people worldwide. Moreover, space technology will enhance global health initiatives by improving communication and data sharing. Satellites can connect remote and underserved regions to telemedicine networks, allowing patients to consult with doctors and specialists regardless of their location. This is particularly crucial in areas with limited healthcare infrastructure, where access to medical expertise can mean the difference between life and death. Imagine a rural village in a developing country gaining access to real-time medical advice from experts halfway across the globe, all thanks to satellite connectivity. The collaborative nature of space-based health initiatives will also strengthen diplomatic ties between nations. By pooling resources and expertise, countries can tackle global health challenges more effectively. For instance, a multinational effort to develop a space-based vaccine research facility could accelerate the discovery of treatments for infectious diseases, ensuring that breakthroughs are shared equitably across borders. This kind of cooperation will not only improve global health outcomes but also build trust and goodwill among participating nations. In addition to addressing immediate health crises, space technology will contribute to long-term healthcare improvements. Satellites can monitor air and water quality, track the spread of pollutants, and assess the impact of environmental factors on public health. This data can inform policies aimed at reducing pollution, improving sanitation, and promoting healthier living conditions. Over time, these efforts will lead to stronger, more resilient communities better equipped to withstand future health challenges. As we look ahead, it's clear that space will become a cornerstone of global health diplomacy. By leveraging the power of space technology, nations can work together to prevent pandemics, advance medical research, and ensure that healthcare reaches even the most remote corners of the planet. This collaborative approach will not only save lives but also pave the way for a healthier, more equitable future for all. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to how space-based communication networks will revolutionize global dialogue, bridging divides and fostering international understanding. Now, let's explore how space-based communication networks are set to transform the way we connect and communicate on a global scale. Imagine a world where no one is left offline, where even the most remote villages have access to high-speed internet, and where international dialogue flows seamlessly across borders. This is the future that space-based communication networks promise to deliver. Satellite constellations consisting of hundreds or even thousands of small satellites working together in orbit will play a pivotal role in this transformation. These networks will provide universal internet coverage, ensuring that every corner of the planet has access to reliable communication. For communities in rural or underserved areas, this could mean access to education, healthcare, and economic opportunities that were previously out of reach. Picture a farmer in a remote region using satellite internet to access real-time weather data, market prices, and agricultural advice, all from the palm of their hand. Beyond bridging the digital divide, space-based communication networks will also foster international dialogue and collaboration. With seamless connectivity, people from different cultures and backgrounds will be able to share ideas, collaborate on projects, and build understanding in ways that were once unimaginable. Think about how global crises such as climate change or pandemics could be addressed more effectively when experts from around the world can communicate and coordinate in real time, regardless of their physical location. These networks will also enhance global security and disaster response. Satellites can provide critical communication links during natural disasters, enabling emergency responders to coordinate relief efforts and deliver aid more efficiently. In conflict zones, they can serve as a lifeline, allowing humanitarian organizations to maintain contact with affected populations and deliver essential services. The ability to communicate across borders without relying on terrestrial infrastructure will make these networks indispensable in times of crisis. Moreover, space-based communication networks will drive innovation in industries ranging from education to entertainment. Virtual classrooms could connect students from different countries, creating a truly global learning environment. Streaming services could deliver high-quality content to even the most remote areas, enriching lives and fostering cultural exchange. The possibilities are endless, and the impact on global society will be profound. As we look to the future, it's clear that space-based communication networks will not only revolutionize how we connect, but also bring us closer together as a global community. By breaking down barriers and fostering dialogue, these networks will play a crucial role in building a more inclusive and interconnected world. With this in mind, let's turn our attention to how space will be used to preserve Earth's cultural heritage, ensuring that the stories and traditions of humanity endure for generations to come. Now, let's shift our gaze to the stars and consider how space could become a guardian of humanity's most precious treasures. Picture this, floating high above Earth. A vast digital archive preserves the stories, art, and traditions of every culture on our planet. This is the future of space-based cultural heritage preservation, a concept that not only safeguards our shared history but also strengthens the bonds between nations. Space-based archives offer a unique solution to the challenges of preserving Earth's cultural heritage. Unlike terrestrial storage, which is vulnerable to natural disasters, wars, and the passage of time, space provides a stable and secure environment. Imagine satellite vaults orbiting Earth, housing digital copies of ancient manuscripts, iconic artworks, and even endangered languages. These archives would act as a time capsule, ensuring that the richness of human culture is never lost, no matter what happens on the ground below. But this isn't just about preservation, it's about connection. Space-based archives could serve as a global resource, accessible to anyone, anywhere. Imagine a student in one part of the world studying the intricate designs of a centuries-old tapestry, while another explores the melodies of a nearly forgotten musical tradition. By making cultural heritage universally available, these archives would foster a deeper understanding and appreciation of our shared humanity. They could become a powerful tool for education, inspiring future generations to celebrate diversity and work together toward common goals. The role of space in preserving cultural heritage also extends to fostering global unity. In a world often divided by borders and ideologies, these archives would remind us of what we have in common. They would highlight the interconnectedness of human history, showing how cultures have influenced and enriched one another over millennia. This shared repository of knowledge could serve as a foundation for dialogue, collaboration, and mutual respect, helping to bridge divides and build a more harmonious world. Moreover, the creation of space-based archives would require unprecedented international cooperation. Nations would need to work together to decide what to preserve, how to store it, and how to ensure equitable access. This collaborative effort could itself become a symbol of unity, demonstrating humanity's ability to come together for a common purpose. It's a vision that transcends politics and geography, uniting us in the shared goal of preserving our collective legacy. As we look to the future, the role of space in preserving cultural heritage offers a profound opportunity to honor our past while shaping a more connected and compassionate world. By safeguarding the stories and traditions that define us, we ensure that the richness of human culture endures for generations to come. And with that, let's turn our attention to how space-based energy diplomacy could transform the way we power our world, opening new avenues for international collaboration and innovation. Now, let's venture into a future where the sun's boundless energy could redefine how nations power their societies and collaborate on a global scale. Imagine vast solar arrays orbiting Earth, capturing sunlight 24 hours a day, free from the limitations of weather or nighttime. This is the promise of space-based solar power, a revolutionary concept that could transform global energy politics and foster unprecedented levels of international cooperation. Space-based solar power works by collecting solar energy in orbit, where sunlight is far more intense and consistent than on Earth's surface. This energy is then converted into microwaves or laser beams and transmitted to receiving stations on the ground, where it's transformed into electricity. The potential is staggering. A single solar power satellite could generate enough energy to power millions of homes, offering a clean, renewable alternative to fossil fuels. But the real game changer lies in how this technology could reshape global energy diplomacy. For starters, space-based solar power could help address one of the most pressing challenges of our time: energy inequality. Nations with limited access to traditional energy resources could tap into this virtually limitless supply, reducing their dependence on imports and leveling the playing field in global energy markets. This could lead to a more equitable distribution of energy, empowering developing nations and fostering economic growth worldwide. But harnessing space-based solar power isn't something any single nation can achieve alone. The sheer scale and complexity of building, launching, and maintaining solar power satellites would require a collaborative effort on an unprecedented scale. Picture this: countries pooling their resources, expertise, and technology to create a shared energy infrastructure in space. This could lead to the formation of international energy alliances, where nations work together not just to generate power, but to distribute it fairly and sustainably. The diplomatic implications of such cooperation are profound. By working together on a project of this magnitude, nations could build trust, strengthen relationships, and create a framework for addressing other global challenges. Space-based solar power could become a symbol of what humanity can achieve when it sets aside differences and focuses on shared goals. It's a vision that transcends borders, uniting us in the pursuit of a cleaner, more sustainable future. Of course, there are challenges to overcome. Questions about cost, safety, and the equitable distribution of energy would need to be addressed through careful negotiation and international agreements. But the potential rewards are immense. By embracing space-based solar power, we could not only revolutionize how we power our world, but also lay the foundation for a new era of global cooperation and diplomacy. As we look to the stars, the possibilities for space-based energy diplomacy are as vast as the cosmos itself. This isn't just about technology, it's about reimagining how nations interact, collaborate, and share resources for the benefit of all. And with that, let's turn our attention to how space colonization could offer solutions to another pressing global challenge: overpopulation. Now, let's shift our gaze to a challenge that has long weighed heavily on humanity: overpopulation. As Earth's population continues to grow, the strain on resources, infrastructure, and ecosystems becomes increasingly unsustainable. But what if the solution lies not just on our planet but beyond it? Space colonization could offer a groundbreaking way to address this crisis, opening up new frontiers for human habitation and easing the pressure on Earth's limited resources. Imagine a future where humanity spreads across the solar system, establishing colonies on the Moon, Mars, and even beyond. These space habitats could serve as new homes for millions, if not billions, of people, providing living space, resources, and opportunities that are no longer available on Earth. By expanding into space, we could effectively reduce the density of Earth's population, creating a more balanced distribution of people across multiple worlds. This wouldn't just solve the problem of overcrowding, it could also spark a new era of human exploration and innovation. However, the idea of mass migration to space raises significant diplomatic challenges. Who gets to go first? How do we ensure fair access to these new habitats? And what happens to the nations left behind? These questions highlight the need for a robust framework of international cooperation and governance. Without clear rules and agreements, the process of migrating to space could become a source of tension and conflict, with wealthier nations potentially dominating access to these new frontiers. One possible solution is the creation of a global space migration policy overseen by an international body. This organization could establish guidelines for selecting colonists, ensuring that migration to space is equitable and inclusive. It could also address issues like resource allocation, infrastructure development, and the rights of space colonists. By working together, nations could ensure that space colonization benefits all of humanity rather than just a privileged few. Another challenge lies in the logistics of moving large numbers of people to space. Building the necessary infrastructure, such as spacecraft, habitats, and life support systems, would require unprecedented levels of collaboration and investment. Nations would need to pool their resources and expertise, sharing the costs and risks of this monumental endeavor. This could lead to the formation of new alliances as countries come together to tackle the technical and financial challenges of space migration. At the same time, space colonization could also create new opportunities for diplomacy. By working together to build and maintain space habitats, nations could strengthen their relationships and foster a spirit of global unity. The shared goal of expanding humanity's presence in space could serve as a powerful catalyst for cooperation, helping to bridge divides and build trust between nations. Of course, the journey to space colonization won't be without its hurdles. Questions about the long-term sustainability of space habitats, the psychological effects of living in space, and the potential for conflict over extraterrestrial resources will need to be carefully addressed. But if we can navigate these challenges, space colonization could offer a transformative solution to one of humanity's most pressing problems. As we look to the stars, the potential for space to address overpopulation is both exciting and daunting. It's a vision that requires not just technological innovation, but also a new approach to diplomacy, one that prioritizes collaboration, equity, and the shared interests of all humanity. And with that, let's explore how space could become a hub for international scientific collaboration, bringing nations together in the pursuit of knowledge and discovery. Now, let's turn our attention to the stars as a stage for something truly extraordinary: international scientific collaboration. Space, with its vast mysteries and uncharted territories, has always been a frontier that unites humanity in curiosity and ambition. But in the future, it could become more than just a shared interest. It could become a global laboratory, where nations come together to push the boundaries of knowledge and innovation. Imagine a world where space stations and lunar bases serve as hubs for groundbreaking research, hosting scientists from every corner of the globe. These facilities could become melting pots of ideas where experts in astrophysics, biology, engineering, and countless other fields work side by side to tackle some of humanity's most profound questions. From studying the effects of microgravity on the human body to exploring the potential for life on distant planets, the possibilities for discovery are endless. One of the most exciting aspects of space-based scientific collaboration is the potential for joint missions. Picture this: a multinational crew aboard a spacecraft, pooling their expertise and resources to explore the far reaches of our solar system. These missions wouldn't just advance our understanding of the universe, they would also foster a sense of shared purpose and unity among participating nations. By working together to achieve common goals, countries could build trust and strengthen their diplomatic ties, creating a foundation for lasting cooperation. Shared discoveries in space could also have a profound impact on Earth. For instance, research conducted in space has already led to advancements in medicine, materials science, and environmental monitoring. In the future, these breakthroughs could become even more transformative, addressing global challenges like climate change, disease, and resource scarcity. By collaborating in space, nations could accelerate the pace of innovation, bringing benefits to people everywhere. Of course, space-based scientific collaboration isn't without its challenges. Differences in funding, priorities, and technological capabilities could create obstacles to cooperation. But these challenges also present opportunities for creative solutions. International agreements could ensure that resources are shared equitably, while joint training programs could help bridge gaps in expertise. By fostering a spirit of inclusivity and mutual respect, the global scientific community could overcome these hurdles and unlock the full potential of space as a shared research platform. The impact of this collaboration could extend far beyond the realm of science. By working together in space, nations could demonstrate the power of unity in the face of shared challenges. This spirit of cooperation could inspire new approaches to diplomacy, showing that even in the vastness of space, humanity's greatest strength lies in its ability to come together. As we look to the future, the potential for space-based scientific collaboration is both inspiring and transformative. It's a vision that reminds us of what we can achieve when we set aside our differences and focus on our shared curiosity and ambition. And with that, let's explore how space could become a cornerstone of global governance, shaping the way nations interact and cooperate in the years to come. As we venture further into the cosmos, the need for new forms of governance becomes increasingly clear. Space, with its vastness and complexity, presents challenges that no single nation can tackle alone. This brings us to the idea of a United Nations of Space, a global body designed to oversee and manage interstellar relations. Such an organization could serve as a cornerstone for cooperation, ensuring that the exploration and use of space benefit all of humanity. The United Nations of Space would likely be tasked with creating and enforcing international laws that govern activities in space. These laws would need to address a wide range of issues, from the peaceful use of space to the equitable sharing of resources. For example, how should nations and private companies share the benefits of asteroid mining? What rules should govern the establishment of colonies on the Moon or Mars? These are just a few of the questions that a United Nations of Space would need to answer. One of the key roles of this organization would be to prevent conflicts in space. As more nations and private entities establish a presence in space, the potential for disputes increases. A United Nations of Space could act as a mediator, helping to resolve conflicts before they escalate. By providing a neutral platform for dialogue, it could foster a spirit of cooperation and mutual respect among spacefaring nations. Another important function of a United Nations of Space would be to promote sustainable practices in space exploration. Just as we have learned the importance of protecting Earth's environment, we must also consider the impact of our activities on the space environment. This includes managing space debris, preventing contamination of celestial bodies, and ensuring that space resources are used responsibly. A global governing body could set standards and guidelines to help achieve these goals. The establishment of a United Nations of Space would also have significant implications for Earth's political landscape. It could serve as a model for international cooperation, demonstrating how nations can work together to address shared challenges. By fostering collaboration in space, it could inspire similar efforts to tackle global issues like climate change, poverty, and inequality. Of course, creating a United Nations of Space would not be without its challenges. Differences in national interests, priorities, and capabilities could complicate the process of reaching consensus. However, the potential benefits far outweigh the difficulties. By working together to establish a fair and effective system of governance, humanity can ensure that space remains a realm of peace, discovery, and opportunity for generations to come. As we look to the future, the idea of a United Nations of Space offers a hopeful vision of what we can achieve when we come together as a global community. It reminds us that the challenges of space are not just technical or scientific, they are also diplomatic and ethical. By addressing these challenges with wisdom and foresight, we can create a future where space is a shared resource managed for the benefit of all. And with that, we conclude our exploration of the future of space-based diplomacy and alliances, leaving you with a final thought. What role will you play in shaping this exciting new frontier? As we bring our journey through the future of space-based diplomacy and alliances to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on the incredible possibilities we've explored. From the rise of space embassies and the evolution of interstellar treaties to the role of private corporations and artificial intelligence in shaping diplomacy, one thing is clear: space is no longer just a frontier for exploration. It's a new stage for international collaboration and innovation. These 25 predictions paint a vivid picture of a future where nations, organizations, and individuals come together to navigate the challenges and opportunities of the cosmos. Space-based diplomacy has the potential to redefine how we think about global cooperation. Whether it's through the formation of alliances like a Lunar Coalition or the creation of a United Nations of Space, the decisions we make today will shape the way humanity interacts in the stars tomorrow. The challenges are immense, from managing resources like asteroid mining to preventing conflicts in orbit, but so are the rewards. By working together, we can ensure that space remains a shared resource, a place of discovery, and a symbol of unity for all of humanity. But this future isn't just about governments and organizations, it's about you. Imagine a world where space tourism becomes a platform for diplomacy, where cultural exchange thrives in orbital habitats, and where global challenges like climate change are addressed through space-based solutions. What role will you play in this new era? Will you be a pioneer, a diplomat, or perhaps an advocate for ethical space exploration? The choices we make now will determine whether space becomes a realm of cooperation or conflict, of hope or division. So, as we look to the stars, let's ask ourselves, how can we contribute to a future where space unites us rather than divides us? How can we ensure that the benefits of space exploration are shared by all? The answers to these questions lie not just in the hands of leaders and scientists, but in the collective efforts of every individual who dreams of a better tomorrow. If this vision of the future excites you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on the latest in futuristic technologies and space exploration. Together, let's imagine and build a future where the stars are not just a destination, but a shared journey for all of humanity. What will your role be in this incredible adventure? The future is waiting. Let's make it extraordinary.